Welcome to the Michigan Golfer Show with your host, Bill Shelton. Join us each week as we explore the people, the places, and the events that shape our great game.
This is Jack Berry with the Michigan Golfer on television, and today we're at the Country Club of Jackson with Jackson's #1 golfer of all time, Dave Hill. Dave, it's good to see you again, and glad that you're still playing so well. Had a little 68, just about matched your age a few days ago.
Well,
and he's
almost.
67. He's not 69. Now we'll get that right.
But it's a pleasure to be here, Jack. Thank you.
We're going to talk about Ryder Cup today. Dave is unbeaten in singles. He played in 3 Ryder Cups, all of them overseas, where it's a little bit tougher to win for the Americans. He played 1969 at Royal Birkdale, 73 at the Muirfield, 77 at Royal Lytham in St. Anne's. Had a 6-3 overall record. He won 13 times on the PGA Tour, including the Buick Open back in 1969. Top 60 money winners for 17 straight years on the tour. Won 6 times on the PGA Senior Tour. And he's went into the Michigan Golf Hall of Fame in 1993. So it's a fabulous record, and this guy was one of the most fun guys to watch in the time that I covered golf at the Free Press and the News, was watching Dave Hill, and nobody worked harder at it. Vijay Singh was an acolyte compared to David on the practice tee. So we want to talk a little bit about Ryder Cup. Let's go back to your first time back in 1969 at Birkdale.
Well, Jack, I'll tell you one thing. Just being a member of the team, to me, was the best honor I ever had. And you talk about getting goosebumps, and I got them anytime I played in a match or even went there.
Now, what was it nowadays? It seems like most of the European team lives in Florida half of the year. And they're all buddies. They're on the PGA Tour, right. But it was different then, wasn't it?
Well, yes, because we didn't have a lot of the foreign players. They might come over for the majors, and that was it. Now they're all playing over here because the money is so much bigger than what it is in their country, and everybody basically swings the club almost alike.
So what was it like then playing?
It was sort of a rivalry, like a high school basketball team playing across town rivalry. Yeah. You were there to win. And friendships, you didn't have many, or I didn't anyway, because I was, you're there to win. You're on a team, and you're going to try to beat them.
And you were always a scrappy player anyway.
Well, I always played to win, and playing that format, the toughest part of the format for me was the alternate shots. That was the toughest part.
Why was that?
Well, because say you get to tee off on the first hole and your partner goes off the second hole. Well, you don't want to let him down. And it's for damn sure he don't want to let you down. And so while you're waiting for him to play his shot, thinking about what I'd be doing, and I'm not telling him what he should be doing. And you sit there and wait, and so he might hit a miscue, like I did with Arnold Palmer at the 18th hole in 1977. I've got a 2-iron in my hand, and we're all even, and I pulled the 2-iron into the left-hand bunker. Well, Arnold, playing with Arnold, you didn't have to worry about where his tee ball was going. It was going down the middle. And that's so you blame yourself, because it wasn't Arnold that hit that 2-iron, I hit it.
But don't they always say it's the team, the team, the team?
Well, I don't ever took it that way, because if I made the mistake, that was my fault. My partner didn't make it. And yet you'll have a partner that would make a mistake, and he's not trying to make that mistake.
Talk a little bit about the back in '69, your match with Brian, with Huggett and Bernard Gallagher. That was one of the tough ones. You and Ken Still played that.
Right, that was an afternoon match, and I think Dale Douglas and I had been beaten in a best ball in the morning, 1 up on 18, and then we got paired with Brian Huggett and Bernard Gallagher. Kenny Still and I did. And we were like 2 up going to the 7th hole, which is a little par 3 down the hill. And Kenny put it off the left edge of the green, and I put it about 15, 20 foot behind the hole, a little bit left. And the wind was blowing hard right to left, and they put it off the green left. And they pitched up and left themselves somewhere between 12 and 8 footers. And we're playing a best ball. and Kenny pitched it about 3 foot by the hole. I putted mine up about 4 to 6 inches from the cup, and I walked up and tapped it in the hole, which was wrong for openers, but no penalty. And then I reached down and grabbed Kenny's coin and flipped it to him. And immediately, which he had the right to do, Gallagher says, "You can't do that." And I said, "Can't do what?" And all he said is, "You can't do that." So you call the referee. You got an American observer, a British observer, and an official. And the official was from Spain. And so the official come over, and I said, and Kenny and I were talking about, what did we do wrong? He said, "You putted out of turn." He said, "Can we put the ball back?" And every time we said that, now they must have said this 10, 15 times, Gallagher, before the man could answer, would say, "You wouldn't put it back in the right place." And I'm not even upset yet. And so after this goes back and forth, and every time we ask him, "Can we put the ball back?" Gallagher jump in there. So I said, "Let's go." So we're only one up now, going to number 8. And so they tee off. Kenny hits it, and I hit a 1-iron down the middle, and I went over the back of the tee to go to the bathroom. And they got little narrow paths going from the tee down to the fairway. And Kenny's standing there talking to the official, and Gallagher's standing there. And so I went by, and I hit Kenny on the back and said, "Come on, Kenny, let's play." And I heard the official say, "Yes, you could have." And I turned around and I said, "Yes, we could have what?" And he said, quote, "You, sir, could have put your ball back, sir, but you didn't ask." Well, I went total ballistic. And Gallagher jumped in there, and I just said, "You say one more word, boy, and I'm putting this 1-iron right upside your head." Well, from then on in, it wasn't pretty, let's put it that way.
Well, wasn't there a little friction even before, earlier in the round? Were they complaining about you at all, walking around or anything like that?
No, I mean, we didn't get any of that. That was when it happened right then.
Yeah.
And if Mr. Gallagher had let the official go through his routine, there wouldn't have been a problem. I would have got to replace my ball, they would have got to putt, and I would have got to put it in.
Yeah.
More than likely, they would have given me the putt.
Yeah. There wasn't any gimmies then.
No, but you know, when he said, "You can't do that," and it didn't dawn on me or Kenny until we called the official over, and then we asked, can't we put the ball back?
Yeah.
And every time we said it, Gallagher would say, "That won't be good enough. You wouldn't put it back in the same place."
He was a bulldog. I think there was 4 bulldogs playing that match.
There were 3 bulldogs for sure, but Brian Huggett has always been a wonderful person, and I always liked Brian Huggett. I never could stand Gallagher from the get-go.
So there's no love lost.
There was never any love lost.
Well,
there.
you won that match. What was it?
We beat them 2-up on the 8. I made an eagle at the 17th hole to beat them.
Okay. That had to be very.
It was very exciting. But the best was the next 2 days.
Okay, and then
the singles matches.
Well, you went in those days. You played singles twice.
Yes.
And
36 holes on the last day.
The Ryder Cup has changed a lot over the years of the different formats. But in those days, it was a lot more difficult. And playing two singles matches on Sunday, and you won both of them.
Right. I had Peter Townsend in the morning, but I didn't sleep all night. I was so mad. And
what were the papers saying then?
I had no clue, because I know one thing. See, my ancestors are from England.
Yeah.
And I told them, I made a statement when I left, I know why my ancestors left here.
That made you real popular.
Right. Townsend was his name. Nice
Peter
boy.
Townsend?
Peter Townsend was a nice boy. He played over here a little bit.
Right.
And I had him first thing in the morning, and I whacked him out 8 and 7. And Brian Barnes, who nobody could beat for the week.
He's a big guy.
In fact, I could tell you a story about what Lee Trevino said, but it wouldn't go well on TV. Because
Well, Barnes beat Nicklaus a couple
well,
times
Barnes
in
beat
singles
Nicklaus.
later
Barnes
on.
beat Nicklaus. Well, Barnes won, I think, almost every match until that day, and I beat him 5-3.
Yeah.
But I could tell you about what Trevino said, and you'd understand. That was a fun.
Wasn't he a big guy? Always had a pipe in his
Yeah,
mouth.
he was a
something?
pipe smoker.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Big man.
Yeah. So that was a tough match all the way around. 16-16
Well,
draw for the
Right.
team result.
Well, that, you know, there was a little discussion there too. I mean, a little hard feelings
Yeah.
there. Why it come down to that? But that was Jack's.
That was Nicklaus conceding
That was his
to
conceding
Jacklin.
that putt.
Yeah.
And for the whole deal.
Yeah.
And whether Jack was playing.
Well, Sam
Being a diplomat,
wasn't Sam Snead the captain that year?
Sam was the captain.
And was Sam a little upset
Yes,
about that?
well, Sam was upset, and I think there was a little thing there between Sam and Jack because Sam didn't play Jack the first day.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not quite sure. I know Jack didn't play in the afternoon match on the first day. That's when Kenny, or the second day, that's when Kenny and I got into it
Yeah.
with them, because he and Dan Sykes come out to the 10th tee to find out what was going on, and all I said was they cheated us out of a hole, number 7. And Jack says, "What do you think is going to happen?" And I said, "Well, we may not win the match, but for damn sure we're going to win the fight."
Now the Ryder Cup has changed a little bit over
Yes. Well, see,
since
now
then, hasn't it?
now they play together all the time.
Yeah.
So they know one another.
Dave is unbeaten in singles. He played in 3 Ryder Cups, all of them overseas, where it's a little bit tougher to win for the Americans. He played 1969 at Royal Birkdale, 73 at the Muirfield, 77 at Royal Lytham and St. Anne's. Had a 6-3 overall record. He won 13 times on the PGA Tour, including the Buick Open back in 1969. Top 60 money winners for 17 straight years on the tour. Won 6 times on the PGA Senior Tour. And he's went into the Michigan Golf Hall of Fame in 1993. So it's a fabulous record. And this guy was one of the most fun guys to watch in the time that I covered golf at the Free Press and the News, was watching Dave Hill, and nobody worked harder at it. Vijay Singh was an acolyte compared to David on the practice tee. Well, the second time that you played was 4 years later over there at Muirfield, and you only got to play one time. What was you
Well, I
said
just
something
come
about you
out
had been
of,
in Japan?
I finished second in Japan, and I could have won the tournament by using the rule book, but I refused to do it. And then I flew 36 straight hours
Wow.
to get there, and I had horrendous pains right under my diaphragm, and I didn't know what was wrong. And the doctor said I had jet lag. Well, it was real hard to breathe. Couldn't swing golf club for sure, so they put me on Librium. So I become basically a co-captain with Jackie Burke, which, was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Who did you almost lose to, or you did lose to in Japan? What was that?
Well, I can't even think of the Japanese names
Oh, okay.
go by me, but I was playing with 2 little Japanese fellas, and we're in the last group, and I was like 2 shots behind teeing off, and I had an interpreter with me, and we get around there, and I get to where I'm like 1 shot, but in the meantime, one of the little guys, he's dropped out of contention. But all the way around the golf course, they're clubbing one another.
Okay.
Yeah. And then it got to the point to where the one that was out would walk over and step behind the ball of the other fella, and they had him on camera. And my interpreter's saying, "They can't do that." I said, "I know they can't do that." And so when we get in the clubhouse, my interpreter went to the head of their golf association, who was a very nice elderly gentleman, and he called them 2 fellas into the room with the interpreter, and then they replayed the 16th, 17th, and 18th holes back on TV and showed them. And then they come to me and ask me what I wanted to do. And I said, if I can't beat a person with my golf clubs, I'm not going to beat them with the rule book. I'll take right where I'm at second.
Oh, well, good.
I said, just tell them if they come to America, they won't last a week.
Did they ever come over?
One of them did. He played pretty good in the Masters about 4 years later.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
But, you know, they had to go through a learning process.
Sure, yeah.
That the rule book does count.
So then your third time in the Ryder Cup was at Royal Lytham.
Right, and I was not playing well then.
What you mean going into the?
Right, I was not swinging the golf club very well.
But you didn't. You played pretty good there.
Well, I played with Dave Stockton one day, and we get beat. And I don't know. We probably got beat 2-up, and it was strictly because I was of no help.
Yeah. But I thought that you played with Stockton and you won a match. You beat Jacqueline and Amy Darcy, 5-3.
How many matches did I play?
Well, you played. Then you won singles 5-4 over Tony Horton.
Over Horton.
Yeah.
Did Stockton and I win? I thought Stockton and I got drilled.
No.
No, I played. That was at really the start of when I started to play poorly and I quit.
Yeah.
Right after
Finsterwald was the captain.
Captain.
And
Wonderful captain.
U.S. won 12.5 to 7.5. And as I say,
well, it was over before.
You won your the two matches you were involved in.
Geez, I thought we lost. I thought Dave Stockton and I lost because I know I drove it pathetic.
No, the book says that you won 5-3.
Well, that's surprise. I was trying to think the other night. I think I won 4 singles, didn't I?
You won all of your singles matches. You won
4 of them.
3 of them because you won
3.
2 the
That's
first
right.
time.
Right.
Second time when you weren't feeling well, you
Right.
didn't
That's
didn't
right, I
play
didn't.
singles.
That's right.
And then the third time you won your singles match. But you delighted playing singles in that, didn't
Well,
you?
it was sort of takes you back to when we were kids around here playing in all our tournaments that Jackson had, with all match play.
Yeah.
And then later on there was some medal tournaments when you got better.
Yeah.
When you got to where you were about a 1 handicap or better. Then they played. Yeah. But you always had a lot of match play, and there's a big difference between match play and medal play.
What do you think of the way the Ryder Cup has grown from the 3 that you played in all overseas to what it is now at Oakland Hills? It's become. I mean, it seems like it's bigger than the Super Bowl and the Ryder or the Masters and everything else you can think of.
Well, Jack, over there it was always a big deal. Over here it wasn't. I mean, over there they'd have, I don't know. I mean, it was wall-to-wall people.
Yeah.
And they're cheering for their people.
Right.
They weren't rude.
Right.
But if you missed a 3-foot putt, they clap.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, that's like at a football game, you know. It didn't bother you.
Yeah.
But the way some of our people have acted over here the last couple of years, it's sort of out of the unacceptable.
Yeah.
You're there to watch golf.
Right.
If the guy misses a 3-4 foot putt and you clap, that's fine because that's what they do to you over there. But you don't harass the player before he gets a chance to
you
swing
don't get
the
on
golf club.
Colin Montgomery.
Right. No.
Right.
No, you just let the men play.
Yeah. What do you think of the size of it now? How much it's?
Well, I'm glad Americans finally got to thinking it was a great deal like the British did.
Yeah.
The thing I don't like about it is letting the captain pick 2 players. I think that adds politics to it.
You think it should be the top 12?
I think it should be because those kids work hard to be on that Ryder Cup. And for you to be the 11th man and maybe by a point you went 10.
Yeah.
It's like what happened to me. I think it was when Lou Graham beat John Mahaffey.
Right.
I was the 12th player. And the only way I could be booted was for Lou Graham to win the U.S. Open.
Which
and
he
when
did.
John Mahaffey 3-putted to let him in, I could have killed the little guy. I mean, that was really disappointing for me.
Yeah.
Because I was delighted just to be a member of the team.
Yeah, he won the playoff over at Medina, wasn't it? And Lou Graham
Yes.
wore his same little light blue shirt every day.
And
His lucky blue shirt.
Lou had it net left ref at 18 and made 4.
And you'll never forgive him for
Right.
it.
No, that was probably that was a big letdown for me that year.
What do you see this year for the Ryder Cup for the U.S. against all of Europe?
Well, I'll promise you, it's going to be a good one because everybody's so evenly matched. I don't know who the captain picked to be the 11th and 12th
Well,
player.
that won't happen yet.
But I just sort of wish they'd take the best 12 and leave politics or friendships out of it.
What do you think of playing at Oakland Hills?
Well, they're
how
going
will
to have
that
some
be?
fun there. I never could play Oakland Hills.
Why is that?
I couldn't putt those greens.
Okay.
It's sort of like me going to Oakmont.
Yeah.
It was an automatic 4 to 7 3 putts a day.
Yeah. What about, is it a good match play course?
Oh, definitely. Oh, yeah.
Because of the greens.
Because of the greens. And, well, the other thing, too, is match play is where if your opponent goes off first and makes a mistake, you got an option. Medal play, you just play.
Right.
But in match play, if he puts it in a bunker, like what happened, why we lost one match in '69, Tommy Aaron and I lost the match because I drove it in a left-hand fairway bunker, and they drove it right in the same left-hand bunker. So we're still dead even.
Yeah.
It's par 5. But we got to play first out of the bunker, and I said to Tommy, I said, just take your sand wedge and explode it out of there. I can put it on the green with a 4-iron. He reaches for his 9-iron. Well, when he reached for the 9-iron, I reached for my sand wedge because I knew I was going to be playing that same shot. And so we ended up getting beat 1 up. But we'd made a couple of mistakes, and we didn't take advantage of a couple of their mistakes.
Oh.
But there's a big difference between playing against 144 players than playing against 1 or 2 because you can use a little gamesmanship in match play, which you would never use in tournament play.
Give us a few examples.
Well, you can move, you can say something. You know,
Yeah.
you can draw a picture they might not like. Like,
Say, man, that's a
after
tough
you-
shot.
No, you say something like, well, man, I put it in that left-hand bunker yesterday. I'm sure glad I didn't today. And now, automatically, you've planted a negative.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of little moves you can make
Yeah.
in match play you don't ever even think about
Do
doing.
you see much of that nowadays?
I don't think so. I just
Yeah.
think the guys just play. Well, Sunday, somebody said something to Mickelson that he'd almost hit it out of bounds on.
On the 5th hole, it hit
the
somebody's
5th hole,
ankle.
it was-
Hit somebody's ankle and stayed in.
Well, before he fired on Sunday, the kid said something to him about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Well, you know that's to me trying to make some.
Yeah,
You're planting
yeah.
a seed.
Yeah. This is a spectator
Right.
that said it, right?
Yeah, you're drawing the man a picture that he don't want to see.
Right. Yeah. So did you guys have clear thoughts when you were playing?
No,
No.
I defied the negatives.
Yeah.
I had a lot of negative
Yeah.
thoughts, but I defy them. I think don't hit it left. Well, aim it left and take it away from left.